There is a prison that millions of English learners live inside every single day. It has no walls, it has no locks, nobody can see it, but it controls every conversation they have. Before they speak one sentence in English, they first create that sentence in their native language. Then they search for the English words. Then they struggle with grammar. Then they worry about pronunciation. Then they imagine people laughing at them. And by the time the sentence is ready, the moment is already gone. Someone else has started speaking. The conversation has moved forward. And once again, they remain silent. Not because they have nothing to say, not because they are unintelligent, not because they are incapable of learning English. They remain silent because they are trying to cross two languages before expressing one thought. Today, I want you to understand something that may completely change the way you learn English. Fluency does not begin when you learn every grammar rule. Fluency does not begin when you memorize thousands of words. Fluency does not begin when you develop a perfect accent. Fluency begins when English stops feeling like a subject you study and starts becoming a language you use to think, feel, react, and express yourself. You may know a great deal of English already. You may understand videos, read articles, and complete grammar exercises. But when someone suddenly asks you a question, your mind freezes. Why? Because knowledge and fluency are not the same thing. Knowledge is stored information. Fluency is trained response. A person may know the rules of swimming, understand how the arms should move, and explain how breathing works. But if that person has never entered the water, knowledge will not keep them from sinking. English works in the same way. You cannot think your way into fluency through grammar books alone. You must enter the language. You must use it. You must struggle inside it. You must make mistakes inside it. You must slowly teach your mind that English is not a dangerous place. It is a place where your thoughts can live. So today, I am not asking you to become perfect. I am asking you to become brave enough to stop translating every thought. I am asking you to stop waiting for confidence before you speak. I am asking you to stop treating mistakes as evidence that you are failing. Your mistakes are evidence that you are participating. You are not here merely to learn English. You are here to become someone who can use English without fear. And that transformation begins with 7 powerful lessons. Lesson 1. Stop building every sentence in your native language. The first habit you must break is the habit of mentally writing every sentence in your native language before translating it into English. This habit may feel helpful because it gives you a sense of control. You believe that if you first create a perfect thought in your strongest language, you can then convert it into correct English. But language does not work like mathematics. There is not always one exact English word for every word in your native language. Expressions are different. Sentence structures are different. Emotions are expressed differently. Even simple ideas may follow a different order. When you translate word by word, you are forcing English to wear the clothes of another language. The result may be grammatically strange, unnatural, or difficult to say. More importantly, translation makes your mind slow. Imagine that somebody asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" A fluent response may begin immediately. "I stayed home, finished some work and watched a movie." But a translating mind begins a long internal process. First, it creates the answer in the native language. Then it looks for the past tense of each verb. Then it wonders whether the correct phrase is "watched a movie" or "saw a movie." Then it becomes worried about pronunciation. The question was simple, but the internal process became complicated. You must begin shortening that process. Do not begin with complicated thoughts. Begin with simple English thoughts. When you wake up, do not immediately attempt to think, "Today I need to complete all my unfinished responsibilities before I can finally relax." Begin with something smaller. "I am tired. It is morning. I need water. I have work today. I want to sleep more." These sentences may seem too easy, but that is exactly why they are powerful. You are training your mind to connect reality directly to English. You see a window, and the word window appears. You feel hungry, and the sentence "I am hungry" appears. You hear rain, and you think, "It is raining." There is no translation in the middle. This is how the English thinking habit begins. Some learners reject simple practice because their ego wants advanced English. They want sophisticated vocabulary, long sentences, and impressive expressions. But fluency is not built by impressing yourself. It is built by repeating what your mind can process naturally. A child does not begin speaking with complicated arguments. A child begins with names, needs, feelings, and basic observations. Then the language expands. You must give yourself permission to develop in the same way. For the next few days, observe your environment and name what you see in English. Do not make it a formal exercise. Make it part of your life. This room is quiet. The door is open. My phone is on the table. The weather is hot. I am waiting for someone. I do not understand this. This is difficult, but I can continue. You are not trying to create beautiful sentences. You are building a direct road between your experience and the English language. At first, your mind will return to translation. That is normal. You have trained it to translate for years. It will not change in one afternoon. Do not become frustrated. When you notice yourself translating, gently make the thought simpler. Perhaps you want to say something complicated, but you do not know how to express it. Instead of becoming silent, reduce the idea. Suppose you want to say, "I was extremely disappointed because the situation did not develop according to my expectations." You may not know all those words. Say, "I felt bad because things did not go as I hoped." It may be simpler, but it communicates the meaning. Fluency is not the ability to express every thought in the most advanced way. Fluency is the ability to keep communicating with the language you currently have. Many learners are not blocked by a lack of vocabulary. They are blocked by their refusal to use simple vocabulary. They believe simple English makes them look unintelligent, but silence communicates nothing. A simple sentence spoken confidently is more powerful than a perfect sentence that never leaves your mind. Do not wait until your English can carry every complicated thought you have. Use the English you possess today. The language will grow because you use it, not before you use it. Lesson 2. Narrate your life in English. You do not need to live in an English-speaking country to create an English-speaking environment. You carry the most important environment with you everywhere: your mind. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. You think about what you are doing, what you need, what happened yesterday, what may happen tomorrow, and how you feel about the people around you. These thoughts are already happening. Your task is to begin giving some of them an English voice. Narrating your life means describing your actions, surroundings, and decisions in simple English. While making tea, you can think, "I am boiling water. I need a cup. The tea is very hot." While getting ready, you can think, "I am looking for my shoes. I am getting late. I need to leave soon." While traveling, you can think, "The road is busy. There are many cars. The driver is moving slowly." This may feel strange in the beginning. That is not a problem. Every new habit feels unnatural before it becomes automatic. The purpose is not to spend the entire day talking to yourself. The purpose is to create short moments when English becomes the language of your immediate experience. Choose 3 moments every day. The first 5 minutes after waking up, a few minutes while traveling or walking, 5 minutes before going to sleep. During these moments, use only simple English in your mind. In the morning, ask yourself, "How do I feel? What do I need to do today? What is the most important task?" At night, ask, "What went well today? What was difficult? What did I learn?" You do not need to produce perfect answers. "I am tired, but I finished my work. I was nervous during the meeting. I learned a new word. I wasted some time today. Tomorrow, I will try again. These small reflections train vocabulary, grammar, and emotional expression at the same time. You can also imagine short conversations. Imagine somebody asking you, "How was your day?" Answer aloud, "My day was busy. I had a lot of work. I felt stressed in the afternoon, but I completed everything." Imagine someone asking, "What are your plans for the weekend?" Answer naturally, "I want to rest, meet a friend, and organize my room." The goal is not to memorize one perfect answer. The goal is to teach your brain to produce English without waiting for an actual conversation. Athletes train before the competition. Musicians practice before the performance. Speakers rehearse before standing on a stage. Why should an English learner expect to speak fluently in real conversations without practicing private conversations first? Your room can become your classroom. Your mirror can become your audience. Your phone recorder can become your teacher. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute about your day. Do not prepare a script. Do not stop every time you make a mistake. Continue until the minute is complete. Then listen to yourself. You may dislike your voice. You may notice long pauses. You may hear mistakes. You may feel embarrassed, even though nobody else is listening. But listen carefully to me. That discomfort is not humiliation. It is awareness. You are finally hearing what needs improvement. Many learners avoid recording themselves because they want to protect their confidence. But confidence built on avoidance is fragile. Real confidence comes from seeing your weaknesses and working on them. Do not try to fix 20 problems at once. Choose one. Perhaps you pause too often. Perhaps your voice is too quiet. Perhaps you use the same word repeatedly. Perhaps you forget past tense endings. Work on one problem for a week. Then record yourself again. Progress often becomes visible only when you compare yourself with your past self. When you narrate your life, English stops being something that exists only in textbooks and videos. It begins entering your personal world. It becomes connected to your breakfast, your work, your dreams, your disappointments, and your daily choices. A language becomes fluent when it becomes personal. You remember words more easily when they are connected to your experiences. The word exhausted becomes meaningful when you say, "I am exhausted after today's work." The phrase "looking forward to" becomes natural when you say, "I am looking forward to the weekend." The expression "changed my mind" becomes useful when you say, "I wanted to go out, but I changed my mind." Do not collect vocabulary like objects in a cupboard. Bring each useful phrase into your life. Use it in a true sentence. Say it aloud. Use it again tomorrow. A word you recognize is not necessarily a word you can use. Recognition is passive. Fluency requires active ownership. Make English describe your world, and it will slowly become part of your identity. Lesson 3. Speak before you feel ready. One of the most dangerous beliefs in language learning is this: I will start speaking when my English becomes better. It sounds reasonable, but it creates a trap. Your English becomes better by speaking. You cannot avoid the activity that creates the improvement you are waiting for. It is like saying, "I will begin exercising when I become strong." Strength is developed through exercise. Speaking ability is developed through speaking. You will never feel completely ready because every new level reveals another weakness. A beginner wants basic vocabulary. An intermediate learner wants better grammar. An advanced learner wants more natural expressions. Even fluent speakers sometimes struggle to find the right words. Readiness is not a destination. It is often an excuse created by fear. You may call it preparation, but sometimes it is simply fear wearing intelligent clothes. You tell yourself you need another course, another grammar book, another month of listening, another 100 words. But deep inside, the real thought is, I do not want people to hear me make mistakes. Let us be honest about that fear. Yes, you may make mistakes. Yes, you may pronounce a word incorrectly. Yes, you may forget what you wanted to say. Yes, someone may correct you. None of these experiences will destroy you. But silence can slowly destroy your confidence, because every time you avoid speaking, you teach your brain that speaking English is dangerous. Avoidance strengthens fear. Action weakens it. You do not overcome fear by waiting for fear to disappear. You overcome fear by acting while fear is still present. Start with small acts of courage. Ask one question in English. Leave one voice message in English. Speak for 1 minute without stopping. Join one short conversation. Introduce yourself to one person. Your goal is not to perform brilliantly. Your goal is to remain present even when you feel uncomfortable. Suppose you begin a sentence and forget a word. Do not panic. Explain the word. If you forget umbrella, say, the thing we use when it rains. If you forget receipt, say, the paper the shop gives you after you pay. If you forget appointment, say, a planned time to meet someone. This skill is extremely important. Fluent speakers do not know every word. They know how to continue when a word is missing. The ability to recover is more valuable than the illusion of perfection. You can use survival phrases. Let me say that another way. I do not know the exact word, but what I mean is, give me a moment to think. How can I explain this? These phrases give your mind time while keeping the conversation alive. Do not believe that pausing means you are failing. Native speakers pause. They change sentences. They correct themselves. They forget words. Natural speech is not a perfectly written paragraph, spoken without interruption. Natural speech is messy. It breathes. It changes direction. It includes hesitation. The problem is not that you pause. The problem is that you judge every pause as evidence that you cannot speak. Stop turning normal difficulty into personal defeat. When a conversation goes badly, do not say, "My English is terrible." That statement is too broad and too emotional to help you. Ask specific questions. What exactly was difficult? Did I lack vocabulary? Could I not understand the accent? Was I too nervous? Which sentence was I unable to express? Specific problems can be solved. Vague self-criticism solves nothing. If you could not explain your job, prepare 5 sentences about your work. If you could not order food, practice restaurant phrases. If you could not understand a fast speaker, listen to similar conversations and repeat them. Every difficult conversation can become a lesson plan. Do not run away from embarrassment. Study it. Embarrassment shows you where fear and weakness are meeting. That is where growth is waiting. Remember this. People are usually thinking far less about your mistakes than you imagine. They are busy thinking about themselves. And anyone who mocks a learner for trying to speak another language is not proving that you are foolish. They are revealing the smallness of their own character. Do not give strangers the power to decide whether your voice deserves to be heard. Your English does not need to be perfect to carry your ideas. Speak while your voice shakes. Speak while your grammar is incomplete. Speak while you are still searching for words. Every courageous sentence becomes evidence. Evidence that you survived. Evidence that you communicated. Evidence that you are becoming stronger. Confidence is not something you must find before speaking. Confidence is the memory of all the times you spoke and discovered that the world did not end. Lesson 4. Learn phrases, not just individual words. Many learners spend years collecting vocabulary, but still cannot speak naturally. They may know the meaning of hundreds or thousands of words, yet when they try to form a sentence, those words refuse to work together. The problem is not always the number of words they know. The problem is how they learned them. If you learn only isolated words, you must build every sentence piece by piece. That takes time and creates uncertainty. Fluent speakers do not create every sentence from zero. They use familiar combinations of words. These combinations are sometimes called chunks, expressions, or sentence patterns. For example, do not learn only the word decision. Learn Make a decision. It was a difficult decision. I have not made a decision yet. I regret that decision. That was the right decision. Now the word is not alone. It has relationships. It has a place in real communication. Do not learn only interested. Learn, I am interested in. Are you interested in? I have always been interested in. I am not really interested in that. When you learn phrases, grammar begins entering your mind naturally. You stop asking yourself whether the correct preposition is interested on, interested at, or interested in. You have heard and repeated the whole pattern so often that it feels right. This is how fluent speech becomes faster. Your brain retrieves a ready-made pattern instead of constructing every sentence under pressure. Begin collecting phrases from real conversations, videos, interviews, and stories. But do not collect everything. A notebook filled with 5,000 expressions you never use is not progress. It is storage. Choose expressions connected to your life. If you often talk about work, learn phrases such as, I am working on, I am responsible for, I need to finish this by. We are running behind schedule. I will keep you updated. If you often meet new people, learn, what do you do? How did you get interested in that? It was nice talking to you. How long have you been living here? If you want to express opinions, learn, in my opinion, the way I see it. I understand your point, but I completely agree. I am not sure I agree with that. A phrase becomes yours through repeated personal use. Suppose you learn, I am looking forward to. Create 5 true sentences. I am looking forward to the weekend. I am looking forward to meeting my friend. I am looking forward to starting this course. I am looking forward to traveling. I am looking forward to getting some rest. Say them aloud. Use the phrase again the next day. Then use it in a real message or conversation. This is much more effective than reading the phrase once and highlighting it. Highlighting is not learning. Writing is not always learning. Understanding is not always learning. The true test is retrieval. Can you produce the phrase without looking at your notes? Can you use it while speaking? Can you adapt it to a new situation? When you watch an English video, resist the desire to write down every unfamiliar word. That habit can destroy your attention. Listen for phrases that are both common and useful. A speaker may say, to be honest, I did not expect that. Do not write only expect. Learn the pattern. To be honest, I did not expect. You can use it in many situations. To be honest, I did not expect the test to be so difficult. To be honest, I did not expect them to call me. To be honest, I did not expect to enjoy the movie. One useful pattern can produce dozens of sentences. This is intelligent learning. You are not memorizing random language. You are building flexible tools. You should also repeat phrases with emotion and context. A sentence spoken without feeling may remain weak in your memory. But when you imagine a real situation, the language becomes alive. Say, I cannot believe this happened, as though you are genuinely surprised. Say, I am so relieved, as though a difficult problem has finally ended. Say, I should have listened to you, as though you truly regret something. Language is not only information, it is rhythm, emotion, intention, and movement. The more naturally you practice the complete phrase, the more quickly it will appear in conversation. Your goal is not to sound like a dictionary. Your goal is to sound like a human being. Human beings do not speak in vocabulary lists. They speak in meaningful patterns. Lesson 5. Train your ears, mouth, and mind together. Some learners study English only with their eyes. They read grammar explanations. They complete written exercises. They memorize vocabulary from lists. They understand written English reasonably well. But when they hear natural speech, everything seems too fast. When they try to speak, their mouth cannot produce the sounds their mind knows. This happens because language is not only visual knowledge. English is sound. It has rhythm, stress, reductions, pauses, and connected speech. To speak naturally, you must train your ears, mouth, and mind together. One of the most effective methods is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a short piece of English and repeating it with the speaker, trying to copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and energy. Do not begin with a 10-minute speech. Choose 10 to 20 seconds. Listen once without speaking. Listen again and notice the words. Read the subtitles or transcript if necessary. Then play the audio and repeat with the speaker. At first, you may fall behind. You may miss words. Your mouth may feel slow. That is exactly why you are practicing. Repeat the same section several times. Do not chase new material every day. Depth is often more valuable than variety. One 30-second clip repeated carefully can teach you more about spoken English than an hour of passive watching. Pay attention to which words are stressed. Notice how small words become weaker. Listen to how sounds connect. For example, written English may show every word separately, but spoken English flows. What are you doing may sound more connected and relaxed than the words appear on paper. I want to go may sound different in fast speech. You do not need to force yourself to copy every reduction immediately. First, train your ear to notice that spoken English does not always sound like carefully pronounced textbook English. This awareness reduces panic. Many learners know the words but fail to recognize them because they expect each word to be pronounced separately and perfectly.
Real speech is a river, not a line of stones. You must learn to hear the flow. Choose speakers whose pronunciation is clear and whose content interests you. Interest matters because consistency becomes easier when you care about the message. But do not become obsessed with copying one accent perfectly. Your goal is clarity, not impersonation. An accent is not a disease. Every person has an accent. The important question is whether people can understand you. Work on sounds that change meaning or repeatedly cause confusion. Work on word stress. Work on sentence rhythm. But do not hate the sound of your background. Your accent carries a history. Improve your clarity without becoming ashamed of your identity. Create a daily 20-minute fluency routine. Spend 5 minutes listening to a short clip. Spend 5 minutes repeating or shadowing it. Spend 5 minutes speaking about the same topic in your own words. Spend 5 minutes listening to your recording and noticing one area to improve. This routine trains understanding, pronunciation, vocabulary, and spontaneous speaking. Let us imagine that the video is about healthy habits. First, you listen to the speaker explain one habit. Then you repeat several sentences. Then you close the video and say, "The speaker talked about sleep. I agree that sleep is important because I cannot focus when I am tired. I usually sleep late, so I need to improve this habit." You are using the input to produce output. That connection is essential. Many learners consume English for hours, but produce almost none. They watch video after video, believing that exposure alone will create fluency. Exposure is necessary, but passive exposure has limits. You may understand a cooking show without becoming a cook. You may watch football without becoming a player.
You may listen to English without developing the ability to speak it. At some point, your mouth must participate. Repeat, respond, summarize, question, explain, disagree. Use the language actively. You can also practice listening in levels. First, listen to clear, learner-friendly English. Then move to natural conversations with subtitles. Then listen without subtitles. Then explore different speakers and accents. Do not begin with the most difficult material and then declare yourself incapable. Difficulty must be progressive. A person learning to lift weights does not begin with the heaviest weight in the room. Choose a challenge that stretches you without crushing you. You should understand enough to follow the main message while still meeting some unfamiliar language. And remember, you do not need to understand every word. Even native speakers sometimes miss words, especially in noisy environments or unfamiliar topics. They use context. They listen for the key idea. Train yourself to remain calm when one word escapes you. Do not stop listening because of one missing word. Stay with the sentence. The meaning may become clear from what comes next. Fluency is not built by controlling every word. It is built by staying connected to meaning. Lesson 6. Make peace with mistakes. Many people say they want to speak English fluently. But what they truly want is to speak English fluently without ever looking foolish. That second desire is what keeps them trapped. You cannot learn a language and protect yourself from every awkward moment. You will choose the wrong word. You will pronounce something incorrectly. You will misunderstand a question. You will create a sentence that makes sense in your mind but sounds strange to someone else. This is not a possibility. It is part of the process. The question is not whether you will make mistakes. The question is what meaning you will give those mistakes. One learner makes a mistake and thinks, "Good, now I know what to correct." Another learner makes the same mistake and thinks, "I am terrible at English, I should stop speaking." The mistake is identical. The interpretation is different. And interpretation determines whether the learner continues. You must stop treating every error as a judgment on your intelligence. Speaking English poorly does not mean you think poorly. It means your language skills have not yet caught up with your thoughts. There is no shame in that gap. You are learning to express an entire human mind through a new system of sounds and structures. That is difficult work. Be demanding about your practice, but do not be cruel to yourself. Cruelty does not accelerate learning. It creates anxiety. An anxious mind struggles to remember words, process speech, and take risks. Then the learner makes more mistakes, becomes more ashamed, and creates a cycle of fear. Break that cycle. When someone corrects you, do not immediately defend yourself or collapse emotionally. Listen. Repeat the corrected sentence. Use it again. Move forward. Correction is information. It is not humiliation unless it is delivered with disrespect. And even when someone is disrespectful, you can take the useful information and leave their attitude behind. You should also distinguish between mistakes that matter and mistakes that do not matter very much. If your sentence communicates the correct meaning and the listener understands you, a small grammatical error may not require immediate interruption. Communication should remain alive. But if the mistake changes the meaning, causes confusion, or happens repeatedly, it deserves focused attention. Do not attempt to correct your entire English personality every time you speak. Choose patterns. Perhaps you often say, "He go to work." Focus on third-person verbs. He goes. She works. It looks. Perhaps you say, "I am agree." Focus on the correct phrase. I agree. Perhaps you say, "I did not went." Practice. I did not go. I did not see. I did not understand. A repeated mistake needs repeated correction. Awareness alone is not enough. You may understand the rule and still produce the old form because your mouth has practiced the mistake more often than the correction. Create 5 or 10 correct sentences. Say them every day. Use them in real communication. Build a stronger habit than the old one. You must also stop comparing your beginning to somebody else's middle. You see another person speaking confidently and assume they are naturally gifted. You do not see the years of practice. You do not see the private embarrassment. You do not see the conversations they avoided, the words they forgot, or the recordings they hated. You are comparing your visible struggle with somebody else's polished result. That comparison is unfair and useless. Your true competition is the version of you who refused to speak yesterday. Can you speak for 30 seconds longer today? Can you use one new phrase? Can you recover from one forgotten word? Can you ask one question instead of remaining silent? These are victories. Small victories may not look impressive, but they change identity. Every time you act despite fear, you become someone who does not run away. That identity matters more than temporary performance. There will be days when your English feels strong. Words will come easily. You will understand people and express yourself clearly. There will also be days when your mind feels empty. Basic words will disappear. Your pronunciation will feel awkward. Do not judge your entire ability by one difficult day. Performance changes with sleep, stress, confidence, topic and environment. Progress is not a straight line. Sometimes you improve quietly for weeks and notice nothing. Then one day, you respond without translating. You understand a joke. You complete a conversation that once would have frightened you. The result appears suddenly, but it was built slowly. Trust the work, not blindly. Measure your progress. Record yourself monthly. Review old writing. Repeat the same speaking topic after several weeks. Look for evidence, but do not demand daily proof from a process that grows through accumulation. A tree does not become taller every time you stare at it. Growth may be invisible while it is happening. Continue watering it. Lesson 7. Become the person who uses English every day. The final lesson is the most important because it determines whether the other 6 lessons remain temporary inspiration or become permanent change. You must stop treating English as a project you visit occasionally. It must become part of your daily identity. Many learners depend on motivation. When they feel inspired, they study for 3 hours. They watch lessons, write vocabulary, and promise themselves that everything will change. Then life becomes busy. The excitement disappears. 3 days pass, then 2 weeks. Then they feel guilty and begin again with another dramatic promise. This cycle creates activity, but not transformation. Fluency is not built through rare moments of extreme effort. It is built through ordinary moments of consistent contact. 20 focused minutes every day will usually take you further than 5 hours, once every 2 weeks. Consistency teaches your brain that English is important. When you disappear from the language repeatedly, your mind must rebuild familiarity every time you return. Create a minimum daily standard. Make it so realistic that you can complete it even on a difficult day. Perhaps your minimum is 5 minutes of listening, 5 minutes of speaking, 5 minutes of phrase review. That is 15 minutes. On energetic days, you can do more. On busy days, protect the minimum. A minimum standard prevents the habit from dying. But your routine must include speaking. Do not hide inside comfortable activities. Some learners love watching videos because watching feels productive without exposing weakness. Others enjoy grammar exercises because answers are either right or wrong. Speaking feels less controlled, so they avoid it. Your routine should challenge the skill you actually want. If you want to speak, you must speak. Use a simple weekly structure. On one day, speak about your family. On another, describe your work or studies. On another, tell a story from your childhood. On another, explain your opinion about a social issue. On another, summarize something you watched. Repeat topics after a few weeks. Do not always search for something new. Repetition creates depth. The second time you discuss a topic, you will speak more clearly. The third time, better phrases will appear. The fourth time, the topic may feel natural. This is not boring repetition. This is mastery. Keep an English thinking journal, but do not turn it into an academic burden. Write 5 sentences each night. What happened? How did you feel? What did you learn? What will you do tomorrow? Then read those sentences aloud. You are combining thought, writing, and speech. You should also design your environment. Change the language of one device to English. Follow useful English content. Listen to English while walking. Keep a phrase list where you can see it. Join conversations where possible. Environment is stronger than intention. If English is hidden inside one book that you open occasionally, it will remain separate from your life. Place the language around you, but do not confuse surrounding yourself with English with using English. Your environment should invite action. Pause a video and answer the speaker's question. Comment in English. Send a message. Repeat a sentence. Bombage. Summarize what you heard. Ask yourself what you think. You are not an empty container waiting to be filled with language. You are a participant. Bring your opinions, personality, and experiences into your learning, and give yourself a meaningful reason. Why do you want to speak English? Do you want better work opportunities? Do you want to study abroad? Do you want to communicate with people from different countries? Do you want to create content? Do you want to speak confidently in meetings? Do you want to prove something to yourself? Be honest. A vague goal produces vague effort. Improving English is not specific enough. Imagine a real situation. I want to introduce myself confidently in an interview. I want to explain my ideas during meetings. I want to create English videos. I want to travel without depending on others. I want to hold a 10-minute conversation without escaping into my native language. Now your practice can serve a purpose. Practice interview answers. Practice explaining your work. Practice speaking to a camera. Practice travel conversations. Practice 10-minute discussions. Your training should resemble the life you want to live. And please understand this deeply. English is a tool. It is not a measurement of human worth. A person who speaks English fluently is not automatically wiser, kinder, or more capable than someone who does not. Do not learn English because you believe your own language makes you smaller. Do not learn English because you are ashamed of where you come from. Learn it because another language gives your voice another road to travel. It allows your ideas to reach more people. It opens conversations that were once closed. It gives you access to knowledge, opportunities, and relationships. But the power was never inside the language alone. The power was always inside you. English simply helps more people hear it. There may be moments when you feel too old to learn. You are not too old. There may be moments when you believe you started too late. You started when you became ready to take responsibility. There may be moments when someone else progresses faster. Let them progress. Their speed does not cancel your journey. There may be moments when you feel embarrassed by your accent, vocabulary, or mistakes. Feel the embarrassment. Then speak anyway. Do not make your confidence dependent on flawless performance. Build a deeper confidence, the confidence that says, I may make mistakes, but I can continue. I may forget a word, but I can explain. I may feel nervous, but I can speak. I may not sound perfect, but my voice still matters. That is the confidence that creates fluency. One day, you will notice something extraordinary. Someone will ask you a question in English, and you will answer before translating. You may not even recognize the importance of the moment immediately. The sentence will simply come, then another, then another. You will realize that English is no longer standing outside your mind, waiting for permission to enter. It has become part of how you communicate. That day will not arrive because of one secret trick. It will arrive because you practiced simple thoughts, because you narrated your life, because you spoke before you felt ready, because you learned useful phrases, because you trained your ears and mouth, because you made peace with mistakes, because you returned to the language every day. The fastest way to think in English is not to force your mind to produce complicated English. It is to build thousands of small, direct connections, a feeling connected to a sentence, an object connected to a word, an experience connected to a phrase, a question connected to an immediate response. Connection by connection, translation becomes unnecessary, and fluency begins. So when you finish listening today, do not simply feel inspired. Inspiration without action becomes another forgotten moment. Take your phone. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Do not prepare. Do not translate every sentence. Talk about what you learned. You may say, I learned that I need to stop waiting. I can start with simple thoughts. I need to speak every day. I will make mistakes, but I will continue. That one imperfect minute is more valuable than another hour spent dreaming about fluent English. Tomorrow, record another minute, then another. Some recordings will be difficult. Some will surprise you. But every recording will prove that you are no longer only learning the language. You are using it. Do not wait for English to become easy before you begin. Begin, and through beginning again and again, English will slowly become easier. Do not wait for fear to leave. Speak, and fear will slowly lose its authority. Do not wait for perfection. Perfection is not the doorway to communication. Courage is. Your voice does not become valuable after your English becomes fluent. Your voice is valuable now. Your ideas matter now. Your story matters now. Your dreams matter now. English is simply one more way to share them with the world. Stop translating your courage into excuses. Stop translating your dreams into delays. Stop translating your fear into silence. Start thinking in English. Start speaking in English. Start with the words you know. Start with the voice you have. Start today.